Introduction. Happiness, what is it really? It's something everyone seeks. Yet even when we think we've found it, doubts creep in. Was this fleeting feeling of satisfaction real happiness? Perhaps you felt a temporary thrill after obtaining something you desired, only to find yourself longing for something new shortly after. Why is it that this cycle of unfulfilled desire persists? Buddhism sheds light on this phenomenon, explaining that our inability to attain lasting happiness is intricately tied to suffering. The Buddhist perspective on happiness. Buddhism teaches that happiness is not tied to material wealth or external validation, but arises from inner peace and contentment. True happiness stems not from possessions or achievements, but from a deep sense of stability and tranquility within. External factors, wealth, status, or relationships, are inherently impermanent. They come and go, and so, relying on them for happiness creates an unstable foundation. The cause of suffering, attachment. One key reason for our unhappiness is attachment. In Buddhism, attachment refers to our tendency to cling to desires, fearing loss and yearning for what we don't have. This grasping nature keeps us trapped in a loop of anxiety and dissatisfaction. For example, attachment to money, praise, or relationships often leads to stress when these things are threatened or lost. Letting go of attachment doesn't mean becoming indifferent or devoid of desire. It means cultivating a healthy detachment that allows us to appreciate life without being controlled by it. Practical steps to release attachment. Recognize when you're clinging to something. Practice gratitude for what you have instead of focusing on what's missing. Establish mindfulness routines, such as daily meditation, to train your mind to accept impermanence. The trap of comparison. Another major obstacle to happiness is comparison. When we measure ourselves against others, we often end up feeling inadequate. Whether it's their success, talents, or lifestyle, constant comparison breeds jealousy, self-doubt, and dissatisfaction. It prevents us from appreciating our own achievements and makes us feel as though we're never enough. To break free from the comparison trap, shift your focus inward. Reflect on your personal growth rather than comparing milestones with others. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small they may seem. Rejoice in the success of others. This fosters a sense of connection rather than competition. Expectations versus reality. Many of our struggles come from unmet expectations. We expect certain outcomes from our efforts, relationships, or circumstances, and when reality falls short, disappointment and frustration arise. Buddhism emphasizes the concept of impermanence, which reminds us that everything is subject to change. Learning to accept this truth helps us approach life with more flexibility and resilience. Practical ways to let go of expectations. Practice acceptance by acknowledging that not everything will go as planned. Cultivate gratitude for the present moment, regardless of its imperfections. Use meditation to ground yourself in the now, reducing fixation on future outcomes. The role of ignorance. In Buddhism, ignorance is a root cause of suffering. This ignorance isn't a lack of knowledge, but a misunderstanding of reality, failing to see things as they truly are. We often misjudge ourselves and others, relying on superficial judgments or societal expectations that cloud our understanding of what truly matters. Overcoming ignorance involves deep self-awareness. Reflect on your true values and aspirations. Question societal norms and evaluate whether they align with your authentic self. Engage in practices like journaling or meditation to cultivate insight and clarity. Mastering emotional control. Our emotions, especially negative ones like anger, jealousy, or fear often lead us astray. When we let emotions control us, we react impulsively, creating conflict and further unhappiness. Buddhism teaches the importance of emotional regulation, not suppressing feelings, but observing and understanding them without being consumed. Steps to cultivate emotional stability. Pause and breathe. When overwhelmed, take a few deep breaths to calm your mind. Observe your emotions. Label the emotion without judgment. For example, I feel anger. Respond thoughtfully. Choose a measured response rather than reacting impulsively. Practice regular mindfulness. Daily meditation strengthens your ability to remain calm under pressure. The path to true happiness. True happiness lies within. It's not about changing your circumstances, but changing your perspective. Buddhism teaches that by letting go of attachments, expectations, and ignorance, and by embracing self-awareness and mindfulness, we can discover a deep, unshakable peace. This inner transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process of cultivating habits and attitudes that align with these teachings. Practical daily habits for inner peace. Start each day with a moment of gratitude. Dedicate time to meditation or quiet reflection. Practice self-compassion and forgive yourself for mistakes. Limit your focus on material possessions or external achievements, shifting instead to personal growth and relationships. Conclusion: embracing the journey. Happiness is not a destination, but a journey. Each step you take toward mindfulness, self-awareness, and detachment brings you closer to true peace. Buddhism reminds us that happiness is not found outside ourselves. It's cultivated within. Begin with small, intentional actions today. Notice your attachments, appreciate what you have, and take moments to breathe deeply. Over time, these practices will transform your perspective and bring you closer to a life of lasting contentment. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of happiness through the lens of Buddhism. Let's continue this journey together, one mindful step at a time.